So, dear participants, next we are going to move the fourth plenary section. Uh, Now I invite Dr. Rakesh Kumar. Rakesh Kumar sir. So just I introduce him. Rakesh Kumar sir received his PhD in Applied Mathematics from IKG Punjab Technical University, Punjab. He is currently working as an associate professor in Sahib Bhagat Singh State Technical Campus, Punjab. He received his MSc degree with mathematics from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. Has more than 16 years experience in academic and teaching and research. He received a project for the modernization of numerical analysis lab under MODROPC of AICTE. He has published 10 research papers in reputed international journals. He has also presented 11 research papers in various national and international conferences. He is a lifetime member of the Mathematical Society, Indian Society of Industrial and Applied Mathematics, and International Society for Research and Development. His research interests are focused on mathematical modeling, dynamic of plankton systems, dynamical system and their applications with various demographic processes. Presently, he is working on problems related to mathematical models of innovation, diffusion systems, and its applications. We are very proud to welcome Rakesh Kumar sir. Please deliver your talk. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Good morning to all of you. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. Okay. And what about my screen? Screen is visible or not?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Can I start, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, Most Reverend Professor Sumnesh Jasrotia ji, Principal Government Degree College Darhal, J&K, the conference convener Dr. Athar Aziz Rana, Head Department of Mathematics of the college, learned invited guest speakers, dear faculty members and participants, good morning to all of you. First of all, I extend my warm gratitude to Professor Sumanesh Jasrotia ji, Principal of the college, and Professor Rana to invite me as a speaker for the International Virtual Conference on recent trends and techniques in mathematical and computer science in association with Cap Comorin Trust, India. Today, my topic of talk is mathematical modeling in epidemiology. I hope the screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I'm going to speak on the topic of mathematical modeling in epidemiology. This is Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Associate Professor, Shahid Bhagat Singh State University, Punjab. For understanding the topic, first of all, let me make it clear what is the meaning of a mathematical model in terms of mathematical modeling in epidemiology. A mathematical model is a description of the real world problem. It focuses on specific quantitative features of the scenario, ignores others just for simplification. It involves a hypothesis. Certain hypotheses are involved in the formulation of a mathematical model, and that can be tested or validated with the help of real world data. So this is just to check the validity of the model. That model is producing good result according to the mathematical problems or not. So the data plays an important role for the validation of the defined mathematical model. As far as the term epidemiology is concerned, classically speaking, epi mean it is upon, demos is related to people, ology mean it is a science. So epidemiology mean the science which deals with what falls upon people. So this is the classical meaning of the word epidemiology. The modern definition says that the study of the distribution and determinants of health-related states in specified populations and the application of this study to control health problems. Epidemiology is the study, it is the study of the scientific, systematic, and data-driven of the distribution. Distribution will be of a frequency or some sort of patterns are formed, and the causes or determinants of that disease or the study or the risk factor involved in that disease of health related states and events, not just diseases in specified populations. The populations can be of a neighborhood, can be of a school, can be of a city or a state, country, or global. These are some of the basic objectives of epidemiology. This is just to check to describe the distribution and magnitude of health and disease problems in the population, to identify the etiological factors. Etiological factors, the factors which are responsible for the diseases. And we can also say that these are the risk factors in the population. To provide the data essential to planning, implementation, evaluation of services for prevention, control, and treatment of disease, and to setting up of priorities for these services. Now, come to the main term of this topic, that is infectious diseases. Infectious diseases are actually the disorders caused by organisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites, which can be passed from one person to another person. So some are transmitted by insects or animal bites, while others are passed by ingesting contaminated food or water or being exposed to organisms in the environment. There are certain examples of these kind of diseases. As far as viruses are concerned, today is the day of a pandemic COVID-19. COVID-19 is spread through a virus. And if we talk about a waterborne disease, the waterborne disease, we have a very good example of a typhoid fever. That is a waterborne disease. There are also the examples of these kinds of diseases. Now, how the spread of a disease occur? There are three types of diseases spread. That is, first of all, we have endemic, constant presence of a disease or infectious agent within a given geographic area. The usually prevalence of a given disease within such area, that is said to be as endemic disease. We have the example of a chickenpox or malaria for this kind of a disease. Then we have a term epidemic. Epidemic, the term is the extension of endemic term. This is the occurrence of a disease in a community or region of causes of an illness or outbreak clearly in excess of expectancy. Means to say that the disease spread out of our expectancy. We have examples of epidemics, that is the cholera, measles, and dengue fever. Now, the third one is very important, that is a pandemic, occurring over a wide geographic area, or we can say that occurrence over our globe, and affecting an exceptionally high proportion of the population. And we have very good examples of a pandemic diseases, that is COVID-19 and H1N1 flu that was occurred in 2009. So these are some of the basic terminologies which were used for the spread of a disease. Now the question arises, how or why to model epidemics? Or we can say that questions for modeling epidemics. What is the risk of an epidemic to occur? How severe is the epidemic? That we have the severity of the epidemic. Just see, we can say that COVID is very severe. It is affecting large proportion of the population over the globe. So the severity of the epidemic is very important. What proportion of the population will become infected and what proportion will die? How long will it last? It is not fixed. In the case of COVID, the time period is not fixed. In the month of January, January 2021, we were expecting that the pandemic has been washed out or dried out, but no. In the month of March again, this year, it creates a big problem for specifically for India or major cities of India, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, or Delhi. So this is very important that what proportion it will affect the population or it will make the people die out. How long it will last? Are all individuals at risk of becoming infected? How far will it spread? What impact does a particular intervention have on the risk, severity, and duration of the epidemic? Why we study epidemic models? To supplement statistical extrapolation, to learn more about the qualitative dynamics of a disease, or to test hypotheses about, for example, prevention strategies. That is very important. That we have to cure that particular kind of disease. So for the curation of the disease, we must be able to understand the qualitative dynamics of the disease or how the disease has been transmitted or some or more significant characteristics of the disease. So for this, we have to make certain hypotheses and try to find out the try to explore the qualitative analysis of the disease or qualitative dynamics of the disease so that we can formulate a strategy to cure the disease. Now, why SIR models are required? Infectious diseases kill millions of people worldwide. Malaria, TB, HIV, AIDS, H1N1 flu, and COVID-19. New diseases emerge suddenly and spread quickly. SARS, West Nile virus, HIV, avian influenza. Effective and fast control measures are needed. Models allow us to predict or estimate when you don't know what are the costs and benefits of different control strategies. When should there be quarantines? Who should receive vaccinations? This is very important. When should wildlife or domestic animals be killed? So that the killing of animals cannot create a kind of disease. This is also very important. Which human populations are most vulnerable? This is very important. In the case of pandemic, it was earlier very much dangerous for old people, but later on it was also become dangerous for young people. So how many people are likely to be infected or to get sick or to die? So these are some of the factors for what we require SIR models. S stands for susceptible, I stand for infected, R stands for recovered. So we will study in this presentation two of the SIR basic models which will help us to understand the dynamics of the disease. For this, we must be able to understand some basic terminologies or basic definitions. The first one, which is very important, that is basic reproduction number. That average number of people an infected person infects at the start of an epidemic. And, this is generally denoted by R naught. This is the average. On an average, how or at what extent?
Excuse me, sir, your slide is not moving.
Slides are
Rakesh,
not
sir,
moving?
your slide is not moving. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. First slide is shown only.
Is it visible now? Sir, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Now visible. Go ahead.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
We were here. Is it okay, sir?
Okay, sir. Okay, now
Okay,
visible.
okay, okay. So average number of people an infected person can infect at the start of epidemic, and it is generally denoted by R naught. And the reproduction number, this is also very important, at a given time, that is denoted by RT. Higher the value of RT, the faster an epidemic will spread. This is the reproduction number at a particular time. So how at what extent the value of RT is there, the faster will be the epidemic. The epidemic will spread at a faster speed according to the value of RT. So measures like lockdown and social distances can reduce the value of RT. RT, it is the number in case of coronavirus. So the number and severity of confirmed cases is to be taken into account. This is also very important, that how severe the confirmed cases are. Now, R naught is a measure of how quickly an epidemic will take off. If the value of R naught is less than 1, it means cases decrease each step. But if the value of R naught is greater than 1, it means the cases will increase. So cases will increase in each and every step. And this will be the network disease when the value of R naught is greater than 1. Network mean one infected person can spread a disease, and he can infect more than one persons. So further, it is the chain process. It is the network disease. So an affected person can infect a number of persons. When the value of R naught is equal to 1, that means the threshold between epidemic or no epidemic. More than 1 mean epidemic will invade, but less than 1 mean epidemic will die out. Epidemic will be finished out. So it is depending upon the value of a basic reproduction number. Now, these are some of the certain diseases with the reproduction numbers are there. For example, measles, it is an airborne disease, and its reproduction number was varying from 12 to 18 when it happened. Pertussis is there, it is also spread through airborne droplet, and the reproduction number was 12 to 17. And then we have diphtheria, it is spread through saliva, and its reproduction number was 6 to 17, within the range of 6 to 7, sorry, not 17. Smallpox, this is the disease which is spread through social contacts. So its reproduction number range was 5 to 7. And at last we will having influenza, and it is also spread through airborne droplets, and its reproduction number varying from 2 to 3. These were some of the important diseases which were occurred in the past throughout the globe with their reproduction numbers. Now, this is the slide that is related to the corona cases spread through different states over the different states of the country, India. The overall, this is the data of April 7, 2021. The overall reproduction number on this date was 1.32. But this is the state-wise reproduction number. It means we are talking about the reproduction number at time t. Remember, this is very important. I am talking about RT here, reproduction number at a given time. So because we are talking about at a particular date, that is April 7. So on the particular date, April 7, the state UP was the highest reproduction number, that was 2.14, and the Punjab was having the lowest reproduction number, that is 1.05. So this tells us how the epidemic is spreading day by day. So this is the daily analysis of the disease spread through different states of the country. Now this chart shows the effective reproduction number of COVID-19 in India. The first value is showing for March 19. This is the value for showing for March 19. On March 19, or we can say that in the month of March 2019, the reproduction number was nearly 1.7.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, again your slide is not moving. Rakesh sir, again your slide is not moving. Rakesh
Is it
sir,
visible to you, sir? Is it visible now?
yes, slide is visible, but it's not moving with. It's not moving. Yeah, no, it's moving. Okay, sir. Okay, start your presentation.
Probably this is the problem of internet, because is it visible now, sir? Is it visible on a full screen?
Yeah, sir. Visible. Slide is visible.
Okay, I'm
No,
going to
it's
move
not in
now.
full screen, but visible. Okay.
Is it okay now? It is moving.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. No.
Okay. So we were talking on the reproduction number. The reproduction number of India on July 19, the reproduction number was less than 1. It means the disease is dying out now in the month of July. That is a 0.97. And just see, the highest reproduction number was in the month of March, or March to April. In the middle of March to April, that was more than 1.8. And now at this point, it is a 0.97. And just see, it was lowest in the month of June to June 8 to July, before July 11. This was lowest. So this chart is showing how dangerous the disease was. That was coronavirus. That now modeling the spread of infectious diseases, mathematicians are trying to find ways to model how diseases spread. One can understand the start of an outbreak, but what happens next? Why does the number of cases peak and then decrease? Is there no one left to infect? Has the disease changed its nature? Now, this is the effect of airline transportation network. Airline transportation means the movement of population from a city to city or a country to country. In India, the disease, that is coronavirus, that is spread through the transportation of the population, and it traveled from different countries to India. Obviously, it is traveled through the globe from China. So modeling features SARS, H1N1, COVID-19, SIR model with empirical population and airline traffic network data, homogeneous mixing within the cities. Homogeneous mixing means the population, infected population is moving from a city to another city. So the population is homogeneous. And the last one is network connections and transports between cities. This is already I have discussed that the transportation has created problems in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. Now, let us understand a model. The first class which we are going to take, that is the susceptible one. And what is the susceptible population? That is easily infected by somebody or something, but not yet infected. This is the susceptible, and the susceptibles are transmitted or converted to infected population through transmission, the transmission of disease, either through contacts or some other source. And this is the population which are unwell and can infect others now. Infecteds, the people have been infected with the help of transmission of the disease, and this population come from susceptible class. And then we have the recovery, or after recovery the population come to the third class, that is the recovered class. So people recover and become immune to infection. So we can say that the antibodies have been generated in the body, or you can say that it is a self-generated or generated through immunization. So there are three classes of population, that is susceptible, infected, and recovered. Now, need to make assumptions about how people mix together. We have to make assumptions about that. So this is the very basic model of our SIR, and N is the total number of individuals in the population, S is the susceptible individuals, I are infected individual, and R, as I already discussed, that is a removed class or recovered class. Removed mean we can say that the population which are dead now, that are also removed from the third class, that is R class. And the sum total of I and R is equal to the total population. That is the number of individuals. And remember, we are taking the model without any demography. And homogeneous mixing is there. So the susceptible population has been turned to infected with the help of infection rate beta. And the infected population have been recovered, and it moves to recovered class at a rate of mu. So S2I, the population is moving at a rate of beta. This is the infection rate. And at a recovery rate mu, the population is moving from I to R. So this is the rate of change of a susceptible population. And as a population, susceptible population is interacting with or coming in contact with the infected population, that is I, out of the total population N at a rate of beta. So obviously, if a susceptible population coming in contact with infected population, it will move to the infected class. So the total population coming to this term is used here, and it is subtracting from the first line coming to this side. And now the infected population is recovering at a rate of mu, as we have taken the recovery rate, and it is coming to the recovered class. So this is a very simple model with the homogeneous mixing without any demographic. Demographic means the no population is taking birth or it is coming from the outer world in the system. So for making it simpler, we take S upon N is small s. This is the density of susceptible individuals, and I upon N is small I. This is the density of infected individuals. And similarly, R is the density of a removed individual.
Excuse me, Rakesh sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Rakesh sir. Again, your slide is not moving. Click on slideshow. I think click on slideshow. Then it may move. Yeah, now it's okay.
Sir, I am moving the slideshow. Just see, this was the previous slide. Is it moving now?
No, it shows SIR model for.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah. This was shown now.
Now this is the SIR model for epidemics.
Yes, SIR model for epidemics.
Okay. So the model has been transformed to this system, and this is the system when the value of S is taken as S upon N, I is I upon N, and small r is R upon N. So these are the densities of susceptible, infected, and removed class. So di upon dt come out to be beta S minus mu into I, that is greater than 0. And at initial value is taken to be approximate 1 of the susceptible individuals. And this value come out to be beta S naught minus mu, that is greater than 0. So the value of R naught is calculated with the help of this model, that is beta upon mu. So just see, the value of R naught is clearly depending upon beta, and beta is the infection rate. So if infection rate is more than a recovery rate, obviously the value will be greater than 1. But if recovery rate is bigger than the infection rate, the value will be less than 1, and then the disease will die out. So for the disease to prevail or the disease to invade, the value of R naught should be greater than 1. This was happening in the case of pandemic coronavirus. The value of R naught was, whenever the value of R naught was greater than 1, it invades in the population and it prevails in the population, and it infected the population at a large scale. But whenever the value is less than 1, the disease going through will die out. So this is the value of a reproduction number. Now this is the simple time series graph in which the populations are shown. The green color curve is showing for susceptible population, and the R is the I class infected population is shown with the help of a red curve, and the blue curve is showing the recovered class. You just see, whenever there is an infection, rate of infection is at the peak at this point, the susceptible population at this point is dying out or it is decreasing. So at one level, it comes to the saturation point. All the population at this point comes to the saturation level. So Si and R at this point, after 110 time scale, on the time scale after 110, it comes to the saturation level. So this peak is showing the infection, or we can say that the value of a reproduction number is greater than 1 at this point, because the infection rate is higher at this peak. So these are the different graphs. Is it okay, sir? Moving? Slides are moving? Rana, sir?
Yes, yes, sir. I think
Slide
still
moving?
slides are not moving. No, no, sir. I think still slides are not moving.
Okay.
Sir, click that slideshow.
No, I clicked.
Slideshow.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Kindly check, is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Okay, okay now.
I think this is the problem of internet. I think so. This is the problem of internet. Because sometimes it started moving and sometimes it stopped.
Sir,
But
please
on
click
my
that
side,
slide.
internet is okay. No, it is
Sir, click
running
on
in the
slideshow. You
slideshow.
are not clicked on that.
Yes, sir. The slide is on a slideshow on my laptop.
Okay, okay, okay. Then okay. It's
On my laptop, I am running the slideshow. But I don't know whether what kind of slide you are seeing. On my laptop, the slides are running with the help of slideshow. Are you able
now
to
it's
see
okay,
the
sir.
full screen?
You please continue.
Okay. Now, SIR model for epidemics, numerical integration has been performed. In the first figure, the value of R0 is 1.5. This is more than 1. It means infection will prevail. So just see the peak in the red curve. The red curve is used for I class, that is infected class, and green curve is used for susceptible population. Now, at the peak point or peak level, the susceptible population is dying out or decreasing. Not dying out, we can say it is decreasing. So, but after a point, it comes to the saturation level. Both the populations comes to the saturation level. But as far as if you compare the three figures used for R0 is 1.5, R0 is 2.0, R0 is 3.5. Whenever the value of R0 is bigger, that is in the third figure, 3.5, the peak, there is a steep peak at this point. You can see in the third figure, the peak is at the top point, or we can say that the slope of the peak is too high. So whenever it is showing that the infection is very high for the reproduction number 3.5. So the value of R0, that is the 3.5, that is basically depending upon beta and mu. Beta, that is the infection rate, and mu is the recovery rate. So it is mean, well, obviously the infection rate will be more, much more as compared to the recovery rate whenever we will have the reproduction number 3.5. So this figure, are you able to see the next slide, sir? How do you control epidemics? Yes, sir. Are you able to see the next slide?
No, sir. Still SIR model for epidemics numerical integration.
Now, are you able to see?
Same slide is visible, sir. I think some technical issue is there. Maybe network issue.
Now, sir, how do you control epidemics? Are you able to see this slide?
Slide is in. Yeah, now it's moving. How do you control epidemics? Now it's moving.
Sir, I think this is the technical problem of internet. So that is why the problem is prevailing probably.
Okay, sir. You continue. You continue.
Okay. How do you control?
Please manually pass the slides.
Okay, okay. Without slideshow, I am going to use now. Let us see. How do you control epidemics? In this figure, the populations are susceptible and infected are shown with the help of green curves or red curves, as and when the value of beta decreasing. That is, at first curve, the value of beta is 0.3. Beta is the infection rate, and then we will have 0.28, and then we will have 0.25. Mu is fixed over here, that is 0.0, 0.2. The susceptible population is decreasing at a large level, but the infection rate is increasing with the help of beta. So beta is responsible for the increase in the infection. This is the infection rate. And keeping mu constant, we are not varying. Remember, we are not varying mu here. Because if we want to check the dynamics of the population, so we have to keep one parameter fixed, just so that to understand the effect of the parameter on the dynamics of the disease. So this is clearly depicting that the value of beta is causing disease. So how to control the epidemic? For controlling the epidemics, we have to reduce the susceptible population, and the susceptible populations can be reduced with the help of vaccinations and reducing the value of beta, that is infection rate. How we can reduce an infection rate? By washing our hands, isolating sick persons, shut down public places, public events, close schools or colleges, as we have done in the lockdown process in the country. And also the third factor is important, that is increase mu. The recovery rate can be increased. The recovery rate can be increased with the help of a better or faster acting medicine can be given, providing antivirals to the patients. So we can increase the immunity, we can increase the recovery rate of the population. Now, mass vaccination is required. Vaccination is a very important parameter for controlling the disease. So, for controlling the disease, we require that the susceptible individuals should be vaccinated. So, if the susceptible individuals are vaccinated, the epidemics will die out. So, in this slide, we can see that the susceptible population come out to be mu upon beta, that is the inversely proportional to 1 upon R naught. So if R naught is 1.5, then the SC population comes out to be, that means 0.66. It means for getting the reproduction number 1.5, we require 33% of the population should be vaccinated at least. But if the value of R naught is 3.0, then roughly 66% of the population should be vaccinated. So this is the, it means the R naught, the value of R naught is also helpful for telling us that about what percent of population should be vaccinated to reduce the prevalence of the disease. Now, adding complexity, little complexity has been added in the SIR model, and it becomes now SIRS. So this is a susceptible, infected, recovered, and then again susceptible population with the demography. With the demographic mean, just see in the first differential equation, ds upon dt, mu is the population that is taking birth in the susceptible population. And for this model, we can assume that SIR model assumes a lifelong immunity. It means after recovery, SIR model has a limitation that after recovery, no population, no individual can be further infected. This is not possible always, because they are assuming that it will have lifelong immunity after recovering from the infection, but it is not always. Suppose a person is infected, and if he is recovered from the infection, it doesn't mean that after a certain period of time he cannot be infected again. So we cannot assume a lifelong immunity. So it means assuming the immunity which is losing at a rate of alpha in this model. So the recovered population after losing the immunity is coming to the susceptible population again. So this is the change in this model, other than the mu population, which is taking birth or entering in the susceptible population. So the third one is R2S. The population is recovering with the help of a population is moving to the susceptible class with the help of loss of immunity. And the birth rate is taken as a mortality rate. Just see, birth rate or death rate is taken to be the same. It is generally not possible, but it is possible in the case of overdeveloped countries where the population is assumed to be constant. There is not a big change or big variation in the population. So we can say that the population or the model is suitable enough for those kinds of population where the population is of a constant size. So the transmission rate per infection, again we have taken, that is beta, and we are getting the value of R naught, that is beta upon gamma plus mu, that is the basic reproduction number. Now the parameter gamma has been added in the reproduction number. It is obviously depending upon the infection rate, that is the beta, and the death rate or mortality rate, that is the mu. If a beta is more than gamma or more than mu, or we can say that if the numerator is more than denominator, obviously the value of R naught is bigger than 1. So if R naught is bigger than 1, then the disease will prevail or it will spread and it will infect the populations. Now you just see the value of R naught. In the value of R naught, no involvement of alpha parameter is there. We can say that the loss of immunity does not affect the onset of the disease. So the loss of immunity is not affecting the disease anywhere. So it is independent from the loss of immunity. Now in this figure, we have the numerical integration. These three figures are shown for the value of R naught. R naught in the first figure is 1.5. In the second figure, we have 2.0. And in the third figure, we have approximately 3.5. So you just see when the value of R naught is a little more than 1, so the susceptible population is shown by green curve, and the infected population is shown by blue curve. Now In the first figure, infection rate is a little lesser, but in the second or in the third figure specifically, the infected population is shown with the help of a blue line. So this is more. That is more than on the time scale 0.6. But in the but the susceptible population is a lesser than the infected population. It means in the system the infected population is more than the susceptible population. For the case of R naught is 3.5. So this is the basic requirement for the disease to be prevailed, that the value of R naught should be more than 1. As and when the value of R naught is less than 1, the disease will not prevail, or it will die out, or it will not affect the population. So again, the mass vaccination is required. This slide is similar to the previous one that was for SIR model. The next slide is very important. This is the impact of vaccination on COVID-19 outbreaks in the United States. This is the reference taken by Syed M. Mogadas. So in this, we will have six figures A to F. In the figures A, B, C, on the x-axis we have taken time in days, and on y-axis we have taken incidence per 10,000 population. And in the first figure we have taken 5%, and in the second figure we have taken 10%, and in the third we have taken 20% level of pre-existing immunity. And that black curve is showing without a vaccination population. And just see, without a vaccination population, the infection rate is very high. But in the red curve, this is the vaccination with reduction of vaccination efficacy. It means the vaccination has been applied, but by reducing the efficacy of the vaccine. Specifically, this type of vaccination is given to old people. But by the help of a blue curve, this is the vaccination given to the population without any reduction of efficacy. And in the blue curve, the incidence rate is very less as compared to the black curve. So this clearly shows that the effect of vaccination on the population, it decreases, helps us to decrease the prevalence of the disease, COVID-19. In the figures D, E, and F, we have depicted, obviously, the authors have depicted the attack rates. In the black curve, the attack rates are more. This is without a vaccination again. And in the blue curve, the attack rates are less. Attack rates mean attack rates of the COVID-19 on the population. So this is also the figure which is showing the effect of vaccination on H1N1 pandemic in the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, USA, which was occurred in 2009. Just see, the vaccination drive is also helpful for the reduction of infected individuals. The black spots are showing the vaccination drive. As and when the vaccination drive goes on large scale, the infected population goes on decreasing as and when the time passes in respect of days. So this is the example in the institute, which is the H1N1 flu in the USA and Spain. The effect of vaccination has been shown in USA or Spain. We can say that in the summary, in SIR or SIRS model, the incident rate of an infection is crucial in spreading an epidemic. Even the simplest epidemiological models require computer algorithm, obviously, to estimate the prevalence profiles, how the disease will prevail. The basic reproduction ratio R0 is a key epidemiological measure affecting for invasion, extinction, and size of the epidemic. If R0 is less than 1, the infection experiences a deterministic extinction. But when R0 is greater than 1, the infection can invade. So in the absence of demography, strong immunizing infections will always go extinct eventually, and not all individuals will have become infected in the case of strongly immunizing infections. So it shows that the how reproduction number is important, at what extent it is helpful in finding out the how the disease will prevail. And the vaccination drive is also very important. So we must aware the population about COVID-19 pandemic that they should be vaccinated. At least a dose should be vaccinated. If the population has doubts in their mind, the doubts should be removed from their mind, especially from the rural people. So thank you very much. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for such a nice talk.
I'm sorry, sir. I couldn't understand why the slides are not visible to you. That was not moving.
Sometimes this problem may occur due to some technical issues.
Probably. This was due to technical error.
Thank you so
very
much for such an informative,
phone line ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
very informative. I personally benefited from it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Anto sir, please continue. Unmute your mic.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, sir.